Hey Wargamers, welcome to another Line Wargaming video where I'll be showing you how I made these epic bases for my Lumineth Realm Lords army with just a few simple steps. You can easily recreate what I did and have some awesome looking bases for your Age of Sigmar army. Let's get started. Before I get started, I just want to say that I did get this from Miniature Maniac, so I kind of copied his idea, but I did kind of customize it a little bit, and I made a whole army of these bases. So we're going to start off with just a regular base, nothing special, and we're going to try and recreate my test base, which I did right here. And we're basically, all it is a layer of plastic over a layer of foil tape, and that gives it really shiny look. And I'll just show you how to do that. First, we're going to get our plastic, just regular plastic, like the packaging of batteries. It needs to be thin, but it doesn't need to be perfect at all. We're just going to cut a rough circle around the base. So I have my plastic, and I'm just taking some scissors and cutting the circle around the plastic. Then once you've got that cut out, you can kind of trim it to size, but we're gonna just fit onto the base, see how it looks. And maybe on this base I want a river of magical Lumineth energy running through the middle of the base. So with an X-Acto knife, I'm just gonna cut just kind of crooked line, trying to make a realistic little river through the plastic. So we've got our plastic cut out here. So if you want to, I'm actually just going to split it into 3 pieces. So our river of magic is kind of splitting at the end. And you really just can do whatever you want at this step. It's pretty neat. You can do a lot of different things. And just try and trim all the sides so they're not all like flat. Try and make it a little jagged and realistic. After that's done, we need to take our foil tape. You could use regular foil if you don't have foil tape, but the tape is kind of nice because it's sticky, so your plastic will stick to the foil. But just for extra protection, we're gonna get some super glue on there and just put your plastic pieces on the foil. And it's kind of hard to work with a little bit, as you can see, because they will stick to your fingers, but it's pretty simple. And then just using the end of the X-Acto knife, I'm pressing down to make sure all the super glue is spread out evenly so it doesn't look weird. You don't see all like the super glue droplets underneath the plastic. And we're just gonna repeat this process with all of our plastic pieces. So the next step is to cut out your pieces of plastic that have been glued to the foil. If you're using scissors and it's foil tape, it kind of will stick and it's a little annoying, but this step is really easy. so should be no problem. After we've got our pieces cut out, you can just kind of arrange them however you want. You can mix it up a little bit if you didn't like your original design. And once you've got that, your pattern kind of laid out. Oh yeah, be sure the side of the plastic is facing up, because the plastic, I guess I didn't mention, but the whole goal of the plastic is to kind of protect the foil tape, and because it kind of a translucent, clean look. So that's what the plastic is for. Then we're gonna get our super glue and start gluing down the pieces of foil that we cut out to make our pattern. So the next step is to take the airbrush to the model. I'm going to start off with ultramarine blue or Macragge blue, just some type of deep blue. Start airbrushing it onto the base. Get it everywhere, especially like along the edges. Well, not actually on the foil, but don't worry if you get it on the foil, we can easily take that off later. I am kind of new to airbrushing, so kind of messed up at the start. That's why there's a big watery blotch. But yeah. And if you don't have an airbrush, you can just use regular paints, but it really just does look better if you put an airbrush on this. And after that, we're gonna get some Lothran blue, and we're going to very lightly apply it to the middle of the base. Now, the goal here is to try not get it on the edges, because on the edges, we want the ultramarine blue to stick out. We want it darker on the edges, lighter in the middle, and then on the next step, we're going to apply white and have a really bright middle. And then very lightly and very carefully, we're going to apply our white, just doing a small amount in the center and then building it up and then just reaching out to the edges, very light. And then the next step was to get some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, and just dunk the Q-tip in the alcohol a little bit, and then just start rubbing it on the foil to get all the paint away, to get a really shiny look. Just don't get any on the actual paint on the river, because that will just eat up the paint right away. You don't want that. So just carefully rub it on the edges and you'll get rid of it. And then the last step is to apply some crystals or any magical Lumineth energy you want for your army. And I've got an example base here, not a very good shot though, but basically I'm just going to take some crushed up glass of all different colors of blue and white, and I'm going to pick a few out that I like, and I'm going to glue it to the base. When you crush the glass, I don't know, you could just find this glass anywhere really. You could use like regular wine bottle glass for clear. I just found some blue glass and I crushed it up on just a plate and a hammer. And I covered the glass with plastic so no parts would fly out and cut myself. So just do that step and you'll be done. And here's the finished product. I got the glass and I glued it right to the base, just in any way that I wanted, and it looks pretty good. So if you're doing a whole army this way, you could just cut out a bunch of plastic and glue it onto the foil without worrying about cutting it into a circle shape, and just apply them randomly to get realistic, and it'll also take a lot less time. As you can see, our model fits pretty good on the base. You also want to be sure that your glass isn't like blocking them from standing on it. So here's a Calvary base, and I have a few others here. I didn't apply any crystals to this one, so you really can do whatever you want with these bases. And for heroes, I just cut pieces that would fit around the edges. Here's the Cathalar. And for Teclis, a little sneak peek, because he'll have his own video, I cut a large amount, so he has a really cool river system that's going to flow into this pond. There will be a video on that. So I hope you liked this and found it helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe, and go and support me on Patreon, please. That'd be much appreciated, and thanks for watching.